my chocolate milk. Sorry about the finger again. That's just gonna be how she goes. Can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me all right. Beautiful. That's great. Hello, welcome everybody. Hello, hello, hello. So we're doing another one of these live streams. I think we'll just chill here for a bit. I mean, there isn't really a proper agenda. This one's gonna be sort of just a chill hangout session. I miss doing these, I really do. I know we did one last week and it really got me thinking this needs to happen a lot more often. I think I create these expectations for myself that there has to be more to it than just a conversation, but no, this is great. I mean, I'll come up with some creative ideas, but even just having this once a month, maybe a bit more, it seemed like you guys loved it. So, again, the purpose of this live stream is to ensure that I am providing you with some form of content on YouTube due to the fact that I didn't put out my regular style content for the past 2 weeks. But rest assured that next week we'll have a Halloween video coming out before Halloween, and we'll get back to regular content. So it'll be great. While we're waiting here, thank you. All 40 of you are here. Wow, that's awesome. So many people. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Miriam, Men and His Hobby, Phoenix, Adam, lots of people. Hi, guys. Hi, Esme, Butterfly K, Stuart, Philippa, John, hello, Kelly, hello from England, hello from Belgium. Bonjour. Kelly, okay. It's going great. Hello from Switzerland. Hi, Felix. I'm actually also part Swiss. I don't know if you knew that. Belgium has been lovely. It's been really nice to get to see my family and spend time with them here. I actually haven't seen my grandparents in quite some time, so it's been really nice to just spend time with them here for the past 2 weeks. And on top of that, see my extended family, my great aunts. These are my grandmother's sisters. So we actually went out for dinner tonight, and it was really nice to spend the evening together too. So it's been really great. It's a nice chance to see some family before getting back home and catching up on tons of work. I mean, exciting projects, but it's going to be great. So this has been kind of a nice, peaceful getaway. I'm excited to get back and get back to work. But yeah, it's been really nice. Let's see. I love no proper agendas. Okay, good to know, Chelsea. Thank you. I like that. I mean, it makes it easy for me if you guys all like these informal style videos too. Adam, how are you enjoying Belgium? Oh, right, that's what I just answered. My bad. Um, let's see. I almost lost my cat. I'm sorry that almost happened, but I'm glad it was only almost. That's a relief. What's your favorite gecko species? Mr. Bacon asks. That's one of those hard questions that you just really can't answer. I mean, I have no idea how to answer that question. There's so many cool gecko species out there. I couldn't possibly pin it down on one. It's just it's not possible. I really can't. I mean, I can give you some that I would love. Obviously, leaf-tailed geckos from Madagascar, the Reptiliatus genus, are some that are dearest to my heart. I love those geckos. I really miss working with them. Like, truly is such a hard decision for me not to keep the Fantasticus. What else? I mean, I love tokay geckos, obviously. I like crested geckos a lot. I think they make fantastic pets and they're a lot of fun to keep too. And the cheese. I really do love those elegant the elegant geckos, the short-fingered geckos that I have. I hope to show you guys more of those soon. They're really fun, and I love how communal they are. Can you visit Reptiliatus shop at the Belgian border? Clément asks. I'm not sure I'm going to have time to, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see, but realistically, I might unfortunately not be able to this visit. doesn't seem like there's going to be time. Dave, first time viewer, super sad my son's leopard gecko came custom with crypto. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible news. Um, I hope that your other animals are safe because that can be quite a contagious illness. And you just want to make sure none of them get infected with crypto. That can be very bad. That's why quarantining is so important. I just got a new baby snake yesterday. Congratulations. What kind of snake do you get? Chrissy, hi. Orange Powerade enthusiast, love it. Big fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting. Crystal Lamb, hello. Hello, Crystal. Cam says, I recently subscribed after occasionally watching your videos, the Canadian Cold Blood Tour, for example, but I subscribed since I really enjoy your naturalistic setups. Well, Cam, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I have some really cool setups that I'm working on that I think you're really all going to enjoy quite a bit. Big changes in the Project Mini Dragon series, not with the animals, but with the enclosures. So if you like naturalistic setups, you're not want to miss the type of content that's coming in the next few weeks. I'm excited to share with you all. It's going to be really cool. Let's see. Also, sorry again about the finger. I'm doing this as smooth as I can. It's all from my phone, so I have to scroll like that. So I'm trying to keep it off the screen, so I apologize. You have to experience the close encounter of my index finger once in a while. Let's see. Hello from Denmark. Hi, Noah. Aaron, hi from Canada. Okay, I'm caught up. Keely, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Sometimes I shouldn't be talking. My name's very confusing, but I think it's Keely. I would assume that's how I pronounce that. What's your favorite pet, invert and or reptile? Oy, these questions are so hard. I mean, from a personability, working with, interacting with type perspective, like I'm gonna default to my green tree monitors because they give you sort of more to get back. When people compare cats and dogs to reptiles, it's a no-brainer for many cases because they actually love you back. And I'm not like I don't personally feel that Sabzi and Basil love me back. I mean, I'm the hand that feeds, maybe a little more glorified than that. But at the same time, it's a bit more rewarding to interact with that type of reptile as opposed to Pingu, who, as much as I love Pingu, I think she's dopey and cute and so fun. It's not the same experience. So for reptiles, sure, I'd say the green tree monitors, but it's not an easy decision to make because there's Tiki, and he's so interactive and fun for a gecko. I've had him since he was the size of my pinky finger, a few days after he hatched. And, he'll be turning 8, I think, 8 or 9 this year. So, I have these animals that I'm very attached to. So I don't take these questions lightly. Like, they're hard to answer. For invertebrates, I don't know, scorpions are really cool, but the thing that kind of stinks about them is for the most part, they don't want to eat as often as tarantulas do. And tarantulas can be so entertaining to feed because it's this like exciting display of power and just like fluid movement and there's just something very elegant and primitive and exciting about tarantulas. So I think tarantulas are really cool too, if that makes sense. I don't know if it's a really weird way to answer your question, but I hope it makes sense. Hey, Dan, how's it going, brother? You're doing so great too, buddy. Love you, buddy. That is a great guy right there. If you guys aren't subscribed to Dan the Turtle Man, go do that. Just leave my live stream and go subscribe to him or open a second window. And he has some fantastic content and he's putting out a lot more content as well soon. So if you like turtles, you got to do it. And he has beautiful turtles. A lot of the diamondback terrapins, they're so cool. Hey, Kayla, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Well, I will also give Kayla a shout out. If you want to see a really cool paludarium setup she's made for her mangrove snake, she loves her boega. Definitely check out her videos too. She has a fantastic channel as well. Okay, let's see. Um, Again, sorry about this finger. I know Adam was making fun of me on his live stream last week. Rightfully so. Hi, Johannes. Johannes. See, I told you I can't pronounce names, and mine is the hardest to pronounce. It's kind of ironic. Hello from Denmark, Noah. Kevin, hello. I have a female Infernalis on the way. That is awesome. Very cool. Let's see. Phoenix, how are the reptiles doing? Mainly Pingu Nona. I have a Cresty and would love to hear more. They're doing fantastic. I've been chatting with Braden every few days. He's one of my dear friends who also is into all these animals, but he's also been helping me with a lot of the work I'm doing. So I've had him film for me more recently, which has been an interesting endeavor, and he's doing really great. He helped me film that Reptile Expo video we did recently. He's going to be helping me film, hopefully, for the November 6th Expo in Toronto, if you'll be attending there. And he's also a fantastic pet sitter. And so he's been chatting with me, giving me updates, and everybody's doing great back home. No complaints whatsoever. They're eating, they're doing really well. So I am very excited to hear that. I was a bit worried about how some of the jumping spider babies would do because they're not like half grown, but they're getting there. So I haven't given you an update on those recently, but they're a bit on the more delicate side. But he said they're all doing good, so very excited. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm so appreciative that you're all typing so much, but I have to scroll every time to catch up to where we're at. It's hard. Okay. Where are you? Pamela asks. I'm actually in Belgium right now, so I'll be here till next Tuesday, and then I fly home with my mother, and then I have a ton of work ahead of me. Holy macaroni, let me tell you. A lot of videos have to get done, a lot of reptile room upgrades and stuff, because I really want to do a reptile room tour in December for you guys. It's long overdue. It's basically become like a joke now that like legend has it Dion's going to do a reptile room tour. I just never put them out. I don't know. I really need to. Where do you get live silkworms? Are hornworms a decent substitute? They're not really comparable, to be honest. I think for sure with moisture, yes, but nutritional value wise, they're really not the same by any means. Like the silkworms have such a high protein ratio, they have all those other beneficial vitamins and minerals. And then there's the serapeptase, of course, which is like the really cool medicinal ingredient that's part of their body. And, with that being a natural form of anti-inflammatory and other things, it helps with what kind of thing? Like inflammation. Yeah, well, inflammation in the body, but I think there are a few other things. I think it lowers like cholesterol too, which is why humans often take it as a supplement. So, I mean, they're both really great. Hornworms are pretty healthy too, but like silkworms are up there. And I buy them locally from a pet store. It's in a town or in a city called Guelph. There's a pet store in Ontario called Pet Culture Guelph. That's usually where I drive to buy them. Let me see. Again, scrolling. Yeah, of course, Dan. I'm gonna give you that shout out, buddy. Hello, sir. Thank you for the love from Russia. I'm looking forward to seeing the new setups. I mainly keep more arid omnivorous reptiles, and they'll destroy almost almost live plants. So I can't do planted enclosures, unfortunately. Yeah, that's tough. It depends on the animal. Like there are a few kind of more arid plants that you can try and keep there they'll do okay. Like a lot of people would be shocked, but I've kept aloe vera with bearded dragons, and yeah, sometimes they chew on them and nibble on them, but the spikes aren't really dangerous for them at all. And oh, Annalise, thank you so much. What the heck? Another super chat. Thank you. That's so generous of you, my friend. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, like I've kept aloe vera with beardies, and they can eat it safely too if you've taken all the time to quarantine it and grow it and make sure it's pesticide free and whatnot. So there are some hardier plants that can be a bit beaten up by the reptiles. It'll do okay, but it is tricky because you have to make sure it's safe for the animal if they choose to eat it, and ideally you want something that's not too delicate when they do, that's not going to kill the plant. Let's see. Dan is the man. That is correct, Kayla. Yes. You have Infernalis, correct? How is the temperament of yours? I do not have Infernalis. I wish I did, but unless we're not thinking of the same thing, but I'm pretty sure that's... No, I don't. Okay, yes. Glad I'm saying it right, Kaylee. They're so cool. I have 2 velvet spiders. Yeah, very awesome. Eyelash jumping spider, Miami wolf spider. That's pretty sweet. Red juvie. You got some sweet tarantulas. Very cool. And yes, Kayla's latest paludarium was very cool. I agree. I mean, I think that's the only one she has too, unless I'm missing something, which is quite possible, but it's a very cool enclosure. Costa Rican red sling, curly hair sling. Wow, very cool. You're welcome, Kayla. No problem. No problem. Should say Lil Roach. Serge. Or Serge. Noah, I'm not there. Okay. Let's see. Which species of tarantula do I like the most? Also an impossible question to answer, but I have a thing for Poecilotheria. I love that genus. Yes, they have more medically significant venom or potent venom, but they are... I just saw Kayla's message there. They are so cool. Just the patterning, the morphology. Within the genus, I think my favorite species, surprisingly, it's not Poecilotheria metallica. Like everybody goes nuts for the Goody sapphire because it's blue and yellow, but for me, it's the Poecilotheria, probably Sapfusca highland, then the Poecilotheria rufilata, I think, Poecilotheria miranda, and then from there, I think it's ornata, then probably metallica, maybe Tigrina wasseli. I don't know. They're just such a stunning genus. They're just absolutely beautiful. Regalis, as common as it is such a beautiful spider too. So, mais bien sûr, Dan, je sais bien parler en français. He asked if tu parles français. Mais oui. Sinon, je n'aurais pas pu communiquer ici en Belgique. But to be fair, where I am right now, it's mostly Flemish or Dutch that's being spoken, and I cannot speak Dutch. I wish. Sorry, guys, I'm doing my scrolling. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Oscar? Oh, Oscar. I don't know. I cannot read. Oscar, thank you so much. I don't know if you're talking about me or any of these other fantastic fellow YouTubers, but thank you so much for the support. If you are saying that to me about being a favorite YouTuber, I'm flattered. I really appreciate that. You really should check out these other guys that are here. Annalise is here as well. If you guys aren't following All Canadian Reptile Girl, please do, because you will not regret it. She posts some incredibly educational content as well, and really cool animals. Super great enclosure standards as well. And I keep saying as well, but it's true. There's lots to add on. So there you go. What are we talking about here? What is the best way to keep a Leachianus gecko warm in the winter? Have a heat mat on bottom and a heat emitter on top. My house gets cold sometimes. Well, it depends because there's this idea where everyone thinks they need to keep this constant temperature for their animal all year round, when in actuality, that really isn't the case. Now, there are extremes to that where you don't want your animal getting too cold, but it's also very natural and normal for the animal to experience a cooling period because that's part of their natural cycle. Like seasonally, you might think, oh, a place like, I don't know, Egypt or Yemen or anywhere that you imagine being so dry and hot, they see a winter. And while there probably isn't ever any snow, it still drops down super cold in the winter. And so, tropical parts of the world, like a Pacific island in Australasia, such as New Caledonia, down there, South Pacific, uh, can also experience lower temperatures. By that, it's all relative, but I think you could say that Leachianus can comfortably drop into the mid to low 60s in the winter, and there'd be no issue with that whatsoever. I would even encourage that for the animal to have that because it slows down, it might eat less, but it holds and conserves its weight. And not just that, it also preps the animals for breeding if that's something you're doing. So my crested geckos, for example, and my lychees naturally drop into the mid to low 60s all winter. And I also have eggs that incubate through those temperatures. Sometimes it fluctuates if their incubation period is like through the tail end of winter into spring. It might get back into the mid 70s, but they go through those low 60s. So where I'm going with this is I wouldn't try so hard to maintain a constant temperature all year. However, if you live in a basement or something and you're going into like the 50s, and depending on the animal, that could be obviously more of a concern, then yes, I would add some supplemental heat and lighting. But if what you're trying to do is get your temperatures to stay consistent to what they are through the whole summer or warm season, that's not something I would worry about whatsoever. I would encourage you to let the temperature drop a bit. But if you maybe have a very young animal, perhaps you want to maybe get them bigger before you start inducing a cooling, then sure, like that's maybe an exception to the rule. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Josh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Opinion on Belgian shortbread. I buy it in the UK. I mean, it's great. Also, just bread in general. I have been loving the bread here. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't eat a lot of bread back home. I know that sounds kind of weird, maybe, for a lot of you, but I mean, to be fair, I don't eat a lot of breakfast. My friends who are close to me, a few of you here are probably laughing at this. Like, I just drink these chai teas a lot for breakfast. I might have a yogurt or something as well, and an apple, and that's usually my breakfast. Um, and then, yeah, I might have something more hearty for lunch with like a lot of vegetables and stuff. Hey, Fadi, how's it going, brother? Welcome. Another YouTuber, guys. You got to check him out. Check out his podcast too. Give this man a warm welcome, please. Yeah, this is wonderful, guys. Thank you to all the YouTubers for your support joining here, friends. It's nice to have you participating too. Okay, let's see. I have to go edit to stay on schedule. Keep kicking butt. Thank you, Dan. Good luck with your video. Yeah, guys, definitely go check out Dan's upcoming video. I think he posted it already or he's about to, but sometimes we run into these crazy problems when we're making videos as YouTubers. It can be anything from running out of memory on your computer to having a weird glitch in the system and your Kayla. Okay, distractions. Uh, you have sometimes it's like code. I don't know. I'm not a very tech savvy person, but like something crashes or whatever, and you're processing your video, and then it becomes corrupted. The file becomes corrupted. That was the word I'm looking for, and that happened to Dan. today or yesterday. I don't know what the time difference. So he's potentially, I think, having to restart that project and repost it. There you go. The transcoding in one of his clips failed, and you had to find which one, right? Yeah, it's a nightmare. I actually found, if I knew that was what it was, I would have tried to send it to you. I found a video how to like find the clip. Anyway, I'm so sorry. If I knew, I could have told you that. It's not easy, but you can find the clip. And yeah, I've redone a whole video, but then I was like, no, thank you. And I figured out how to find the one corrupt file. You can remove it and then redo that part, and it'll process. But I'll chat with you more about that another time. I haven't had to do it in so long. I don't even remember how to do it, but I did do it that way once. Anyway, I digress as usual. That's a monkey foot. I didn't know that you spoke French, Dan. That should have been our secret language at Animal Con. But now it can be next year. Um, Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling back up. Oh, take care, Chantal. I don't know if you're still here, but I guess you'll see it when you watch later. Thanks for tuning in. Ruben, do you plan on getting any roaches now that they're legal in Canada? Absolutely. I want to just kind of wait a little bit. I was actually planning on making a video with the gentleman who originally imported them and obtained the legal permits for commercialization of the false discoids. So hopefully we can do a fun little bit on that. And yeah, I think I'd like to have some for not only any of my animals that can take them. Because the nice thing about roaches is that having worked in an entomology lab at the University of Guelph, so they're so good when it comes to gut loading. You know, you have a cricket that can only fit so much food in its stomach. But if you offer, and I've heard other friends mention this, like some of them that work for ZooMed and such, that we're bringing this up, so I don't want to take full credit. It's a great analogy, but truly, if you offer them food and they eat it, like you have this is like the abdomen of a roach, and it just dilates, and all the membranous tissue shows between the exoskeleton, and it's just packed with whatever you fed them. So they're fantastic at delivering all these nutrients to your animal because they take in so much food. And that's another reason why I absolutely would love to get my hands on some once I know for sure that they're completely legal, which they are. I've seen the paperwork and everything too. So, um, California Red Side. Oh yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, Kevin. I'm so sorry. In my head, I was thinking of. I don't know why, but I was thinking of indigo snakes. That's not at all the same thing. Yes, I have a female Infernalis. I don't have a male yet, though. I really need to get a male. Um, so that was a weird situation. I was advised not to keep a male and female together, despite them being very communal and social animals, obviously. I understand the concern because I don't want them breeding prematurely, but I think I made the mistake by not purchasing maybe even a second female and just keeping the male on his own. I don't know. It was tough. That being said, like Sylvanite's doing amazing. She's not really struggling, or she doesn't seem overly shy because she's on her own by any means. But I would love to see her have a mate or at least another like garter friend. So we'll see. Um, Zachary asked if I got the rhino rat snakes. Oh, well, you said snake. So I'll let you guys know here that, I mean, I talked about this in my last video. I actually purchased a pair of rhino rat snakes. So I'll be picking those up at the expo coming up in November. I'm really excited. They're very young still, like they're super small. They're still feeding on guppies. They haven't switched to pinkies yet. So lots of work to do with those, but yeah, I'm so excited to be having that species. They were a dream snake of mine. Uh, Chelsea, what's your biggest challenge with taming down your green tree monitors? Um, it's just a game of patience. You have to be so patient with these animals. You really need to move slowly around them. I find I don't want to call it exposure therapy, but it almost is that. Has been my best friend in the game with Basil, especially moving him into the reptile room and Sabzi into my room temporarily was the best decision I ever could have made. Hey, Mike, how's it going, Petit Mikey? It's the best decision I ever could have made for him because it forced him to see me every day because I spend the most room in the room. I can't talk, guys. I spend the most time in the reptile room, right? I'm working there, I'm taking care of the animals there. I'm standing up, I'm walking around, I'm sitting down, turning back and forth in the computer chair. And so at first he was getting really scared of that, but then he got used to me being around. And then he started getting used to me opening the doors and not always bolting. And so that really helped. But the hardest thing is probably with him, just when he jumps onto my lap to grab something to eat, and then instead of jumping back into the enclosure, accidentally jumps too far to the right and just ends up on the floor, and he just freaks out. And it can be a bit stressful for me because I don't want to ever lose him behind enclosures and stuff. He's getting really good, but he does still freak out a bit. So yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things. And also, man, their nails are like knives. They're probably nothing compared to other species of monitors, but they are tree monitors and theirs are very sharp. So it can be hard. Yeah. Lee's Reptiles and Aquatics. I hope so too. Keep at it. That's all you got to do. Just stay passionate, be genuine and sincere, keep posting content, improve your craft as you go, refine it. You'll do great. Daffy. Fadi. I don't know Fadi Mahai. Outdoor things. I don't really know how to start a dubia roach colony. I mean, like, yes and no. I've looked it up and it's pretty straightforward. Like egg carton, I hear citrus fruit definitely gets them going. Keep them pretty warm. I don't know, that kind of stuff. Let's see. Kayla Roach, that's exactly what I'd expect someone of his stature. Wow, okay. Let's see. That sucks. We're still talking about Dan's video there, the corrupted. Digress or digress. Oh my gosh. Sandra, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you loving my content and my animals. Thank you very much. It was very helpful. You're awesome. And my lychee here. Very welcome. Roy, bearded dragon or Euromastics? Ooh, I know a lot of people don't like beardies, and I don't know why. I still think they're cool. Like, I know a lot of people keep them wrong, but I do think they make great reptile pets. That being said, Euromastics are so underrated. I think they're really cool. So I'd probably go with the Euromastics. Yeah, we'll say Euromastics to give them some love. I am very much on the fence, though. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the appearance of bearded dragon a lot too. I gotta be honest. Do you know if Canada and Colony will be at the Toronto Expo? I'm actually not sure, but I would assume so. I don't know if Mike is still on or if he was just popping in to say hi, but he might know because he's a vendor and he might have looked at the list. Bye, Dan, again. I don't know if I said bye. I've been saying bye to a lot of people. Philippa, will you ever show your isopods again? I really miss them. Yes, I will. Okay, so I've kind of been hinting at this, but drum roll here. No, it's not worth a drum roll. It's pretty sad. I don't keep nearly as many isopods as I used to. And I know everybody really loved those tours where I had so many cool Cubaris species and all the rarer stuff at the time. It's not that rare anymore. But I've really kind of changed priorities with what I'm keeping. And while I still have a decent collection of isopods, I don't keep the same amount. And I feel like everyone would be so disappointed to see how few isopod species or morphs I'm keeping. And so I'd like to eventually do an update, but kind of dreading it because I feel like it'll just be really ill received just because there's so many less isopods. Like, I think one video is like 36 species or types of isopod. Well, now it'd be like 12 or something. I just really downsized all of them, and I kept a few. Like I still have my Officinalis grease. I have a few like Prunosis, a few types of Porcilio still, like some Armadillidium species. But like I'm not really keeping anything delicate and more interesting. Thank you, Kari. I appreciate that. So I don't know. I think I'll just refresh all the cultures because I'm getting dwarf whites. The dwarf whites are getting to everything, and it's chaos because, as you know, they will outcompete any species they're kept with. They'll eat their monkai, like monkai. Like it's awful. So I have to pick. Like it's a nightmare. Like you don't want to leave anyone behind, but you need to go in there and like collect all your species and make sure no dwarf white gets moved to the next bin because they're parthenogenic. And so that means they can reproduce asexually. You get one dwarf white in another bin, and they're going to slowly take over again. So I have to go through all of that, and then maybe I'll do a tour. But for now, it's just not a priority with so many other things I'm doing. But rest assured, I'm still keeping isopods, and I hope to share something at some point. Yeah. And live feeding ASMR. Yes, sabzi is spinach. In Farsi, so like if you're Iranian, it means green vegetables, and that was the method behind the madness for naming her that because green vegetables, green lizard, sabzi, and I like the name, so yeah, that's why we went with sabzi. Daffy's reptiles. What temps are you keeping the gargs at? Sometimes increasing the temps a little bit will encourage eating insects. Hey, good advice. Um, Awesome to be in this live. I'm watching Dan's, Mike's, and Kayla's video all the weeks, and now we are here. Hey, good for you supporting them. They have fantastic content. Jurassic Nerd Shorts. Can you get a barking gecko? Are you talking about the what is it, under whatever it is? It's something Millie. You Millie, is that it? The guys that look like Nephorus but aren't anymore. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about another gecko I'm thinking of? Anyhow, they're really cool. Now that it's cold by me, mid 60s but normally low 70s. That's awesome. Thank you for watching. Medusa the Hognose. Hi. Chelsea. Okay, that is kind of what I was thinking. My Aki's been similar, just taking some sweet time. Ironically, she's also made the slight overshot leap. Nice. Black Label Homestead. Do I have dart frogs? Oh my goodness. You need to go check out my channel. I mean, to be fair, there's a few I haven't shown any of them in a very long time. That is a much needed update. But yes, I keep quite a few species of dart frog. Medusa, what is the best pet monitor? Oh, excuse me. Oh, just to let you guys know, I promise you're not boring me whatsoever. But I should make mention that it is 11:08 p.m. here in Belgium. So that's why the live stream is probably a bit earlier than I would have chose to do for the most amount of people to join. Although I love doing it this late because then this side of the world can still participate if they're awake. Yeah, it's just that's how she goes when there's a 6 hour difference. So I apologize. I promise you're not boring me. I'm not tired of you all. I'm just a little tired because it's late. Oh, Fadi had to leave? Hey, all right, take care, brother. Lunch break over? You had lunch now, dude? Maybe he means dinner. I don't know. I want a Euromastics, but not the room. Yeah, I mean, it depends what kind. Not all Euromastics get huge. I mean, Egyptians do, but. Dead step. Is it normal for a crested gecko to refuse eating insects of any kind? He's healthy and eats his prepared diet all the time, but just won't eat insects. Honestly, I've seen this happen before. I wouldn't worry too much about it. What I will say is I found cresties to be particularly receptive to prey that moves a lot. So if you're offering things like mealworms, silkworms, any of the worms, and they're not eating it, I'm not that surprised. I find that they're just less interested in that compared to something that's running around, jumping. They're like, oh, they want to like go for it. So I would really keep that in mind because I think overall, if your goal is to get them on any type of live prey, do the crickets, or depending where you are, I guess like Turkestan roaches or something like that that just runs around and doesn't hide. Yeah. And then if not, it's not the end of the world. I would then maybe just make sure that you're using a meal replacement diet that has like black soldier flies or something in it to ensure that they're getting some insect protein still. I think that would help a lot. Um, let's see. Sorry, guys. There we go. Yeah, I see a lot of you are saying the same thing. All Canadian reptile girl. My crested gecko is exactly the same. I've ground up some frozen cricket. Hey, that's smart. That's really smart, Annalise. Yeah, you could do that too. You can put like freeze dried insects in it as well. Um, Maximilian, how has your stay in Belgium been so far? Did you enjoy Mike's collection and Pepe Deza? I'm going there tomorrow for the Halloween event. I didn't know about this Halloween event, by the way. It literally started, I guess, today or tomorrow, or yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we left there 2 days ago, so we just missed it, but it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. Mike's collection was really cool. Um, it was unfortunate that he didn't he he has a no filming and photography rule, which is kind of unfortunate because I was really looking forward to, although I didn't organize anything with him, I was hoping to maybe do some filming in his Repti park and like show the amazing animals he has, but he was explaining that like that's not really something that he allows, I guess, because he wants people to see it when they come. So I obviously respected that, but I would have been kind of cool to show what he's working with. But we did have a really awesome conversation about his project, and we talked a little bit about breeding Tribulinotus, which is really cool. So he's such a nice guy, and honestly, I will say he has one of the cleanest reptile shops I have ever seen in my life. Truly, every enclosure was immaculate. The glass, there wasn't a drop or a pile, like there was no speck of dirt anywhere uh, on the ground anywhere. Like there's no loose crickets, nothing. It was so clean. I mean, someone was literally vacuuming the store when I was there with the shop vac. So I will give him credit for that. Like I was very impressed with the cleanliness of the whole shop. So yeah, it was a cool experience, and I always love seeing how Europeans keep their animals and how um, excuse me again, how one can compare it to Americans, North Americans. It's always quite different. I like one of the big takeaways I always find, and I've seen this in the past, is like you guys like to keep your lights in the enclosures. They don't sit over a screen or even like a box on top where it's sheltered. It's truly in the enclosure. Like you'll have the UV light just exposed in the enclosure or your heat light in the enclosure. I think there's pros and cons to that, but I always get worried like what happens when they get wet? Because these things blow. I've literally blown up a few bulbs getting them wet or spraying them before by accident. It's just curious to me. I don't know. And people worry about burning animals. I think depending on the animal and what wattage and light you have in the tank, it's not always an issue. But that's another thing. They're not always even placed in caging or anything like that. So it's so funky. Um, yes, the Underwood Saurus Millie. They're really cool. Clodes. Yes, I have seen those. They're also really cool. Invertico. Best scorpion species as a pet, probably gonna say Heterometrus species, anyone in that genus, and Pandinus. The reason I did it in that order is because Pandinus is just really hard to find now because they're CITES. Some people do offer them captive bred, but it just seems like it's quite uncommon. I don't know. They're around, but just not as much as they used to be. Fellow Belgian here. Awesome. Hello from Germany. Hallo, guten Tag. What's the best? Oh, that's literally that question. Same time frame in Denmark. Oh, he didn't answer my question. Wait, I didn't? What was your question? Medusa. I'm gonna scroll up for you, Medusa. One sec. Let's see. Uh, wait, I thought. Oh, I'm sorry. What is the best pet monitor in my opinion? Um, that's hard to say. I think as far as availability and maintainable size goes, probably an Ackie monitor. They're really accessible. They're easy to care for. They're very personal. They have all the cool features in a small package. Yeah, I mean, tree monitors are great too, but they definitely have more things that can go wrong with them than, say, the Ackie with humidity and shedding and other things. And then they do get a lot bigger. So um, they need a bit more of a tall and larger environment too, right? So I think I would recommend the Ackies as the best beginner. Hope that helps. Let's see. Let's see. Would you like to do a Derek's reptile interview? I can ask him. Oh, I think I've done one. Pretty sure I have. He's a really cool guy. But unless we're talking about a different Derek, um, yeah, I'm always open to having good chats about reptiles, but I'm pretty sure I've done one with him. Ruben Dali, my Krusty is an extraordinarily avid hunter. There you go. I refuse to keep any kind of lizard as I'd feed it, or as I'd feel it was unfair to keep them in like a six. I'd feel I need to give them double the amount. Wow, I admire your standard. That's really good. Katie, what temps do you recommend for hatchling box turtles? And do they need UV as hatchlings? To be honest, Katie, I'm not comfortable answering that question just because I've never kept box turtles. Excuse me. Um, Sorry, guys. I don't mean to keep yawning like that. Yeah, I don't know for sure. So the last thing I want to do is give you the wrong information. I can guess, but what good is that if I'd ask you to double check it anyway? So yeah, please look into that. I'm sorry I can't answer. I've helped care for them at a pet store I worked at full time as a manager. We had three-toed box turtles, and for those, like we kept them really moist to keep them hydrated, and we did offer 6% or 5.0 UVB. We had, I think, like a 75-watt light on them for basking, and I think they were maintained around a 74 ambient with like a little 80 something hotspot. But again, that's just me blabbing out some stuff that you really need to double check on. I hope that helps in some way. But please do look into it. Don't just take what I said there as finite or anything like that. Um, what am I? Oh, okay, this is more on the Cresties and bugs thing. Do I need to dust my insects even if there is calcium in the powder diet for my crested gecko? This is a good question. So I know that a lot of these companies claim that their diet is like complete and you don't have to use any supplements. But to be honest with you guys, I would still recommend periodically dusting your food regardless to ensure that they're for sure getting the adequate amount of supplements they need. It's just not worth the risk. I also kind of question the whole D3 thing with some of them. You don't want to overdo the synthetic D3, but obviously providing UVB to the reptiles is important too. But yeah, I think I would still be dusting periodically, not on everything, because if they're getting a fully balanced diet, they really shouldn't need that much dusting, but it's more important with young animals than older ones. I also add bee pollen to my geckos' diets, and that's going to give them a ton of really good amino acids and all these other vitamins and minerals and things that they can benefit from eating. So I think that helps as well. Yeah, but I wouldn't just say no dusting anymore. I think it's probably a good idea to take advantage of dusting every so often when you're doing crickets instead of diet. I think it'll help. I'm from California. I keep all my lights on the outside. I think it would stress me out. Yeah, that's different. King's dwarf monitor. I mean, by all means, if you can find them where you are, they're just not a very common species for a lot of people. Nason, hi from the Triangle Cluster, North Carolina. Hi. I used to have a heterometrous spinnifer. She was awesome. I now have her preserved in the acrylic stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. That's hard to do. Good for you pulling that off. That's a nice way to like remember her and enjoy her forever. Seems like EU is ahead of NA in terms of herpetoculture. Yeah, I will say one thing I noticed that I'm so envious of is the enclosures that keepers here have access to. Man, oh man, they can create all these awesome customizable sizes. They put the frames in, just cut the walls to size, slide them in. It's so cool. I'm so envious. Like they can build these crazy nice large enclosures, and a lot of their glass enclosures have this unique front. Um, there's like a grill in the front that has the ventilation pulls in air from the front, and it's a cool design. If that makes any sense, works really well. Thoughts on Kenyan sand boas or any sand boas? I mean, yeah, they're cool snakes, especially if you don't have a lot of room and you want a smaller species of boa. For the most part, like relatively speaking, they're a lot smaller. Um, yeah, they're pretty nice. I've only worked with them again in stores. They're not really for me. I like species that I can see more, that are out and about, and I find because they're just hiding in the substrate the whole time until they want to eat, poking their head out with their little eyes. And they don't do it for me. I have limited space, so I have to be very particular about what I'm keeping. But they're fun. A lot of people enjoy them, as they should. Have you ever kept legless lizards? Cause at my local pet store, they have them. I haven't. I've worked with them again. There's a lot of things I've worked with, guys, that I haven't kept personally. So I can make some comment on it because I've worked in a pet store that and managed a reptile department for several years in the past. So I have these experiences I can share, but and one of them is we've had legless lizards. Depends on the type, I guess, but the Europeans are really big and interesting. Um, they're cool, but I mean, I can't say a whole lot. Um, they're interesting if they're your thing. Like they're pretty fun. They're active. A lot of them will tongue feed readily. Yeah, I was. I once managed a reptile department at the same store that I buy my silkworms from now. But like this is years ago, back in like 2014 to 2018 ish. So yeah, how much bee pollen should you add to a gecko's ready-made food? Excuse me again. Guys, I feel so embarrassed. I promise I appreciate you being here. I'm just yawning from a long day of walking around a lot outside. Um, so, I mean, I have like those little condiment bottles where and I'll like fill it with diet, and then I'll put like a teaspoon or two of ground bee pollen, like the powder, and I find shake it all up. That always works well. But if it's just like a little dish of food, you could put a little pinch in if you wanted to. I think that would be sufficient. I don't think you can really, I mean, I don't want to say that for sure. I'm sure you can overdo it to an extent, but I don't think it's going to be too much per se. Just, yeah, a little pinch in the dish should be great. Max Aussie Reptiles and more. Can you please get an Underwoodysaurus, Millie? I mean, yeah, those would be really cool to have, but I think they are actually. I think those geckos are the parthogenic ones. Maybe. We'll see. I'll keep it in mind. Chelsea, just a shout to Schneider skinks, so underrated. Probably the only animal I keep that I would feel 100% comfortable handling to a small child. That's so cool. Yeah, I know Adam, good friend of mine, obviously, Wicked Reptiles, keeps those guys, and he's made videos about them, and everybody wants them now, which is cool. It gives them some positive light. They're really cool animals for sure. But again, I have to be very selective. I don't have a lot of room. I know you're not asking me to keep them, but it's so hard, right? Because there's all these cool species I'd love to be able to keep that I can't always consider keeping, unfortunately. What happened in the end about being able slash unable to move to the States and US with reptiles? I remember YouTubers talking about it a few months ago, but not about it since, and I'm curious. I don't know in what context you mean, but it's a bit tricky because I don't know I need to be careful how I explain stuff because I don't know for sure. Like in the US, you have the Lacey Act, right? So it's a little bit different than the way things work in Canada. We don't operate with the Lacey Act. That's a American thing. And with Lacey Act, it has different rules and regulations. So for example, in the States, you cannot keep Fiji banded iguanas. Um, whereas in Canada, we can. So if you were to try to move to the States with one from Canada, you wouldn't be able to keep it, obviously. You'd have to leave it back here. That's one thing. Canada has weird rules about turtles. They're very, very hard to import. In fact, for the most part, you can't import turtles. It's very hard to export them too. There is this sort of, I won't call it a loophole, but there's this like rule where you can actually fill out some paperwork and either import one or two as a personal pet. And I think the idea is that gives people that have them as pets the ability to say move to Canada with a turtle that was their pet from another country. But the other way around is also very hard. I think it's easier to export them than to import them. And then there's very strict rules about what you can do with that animal. Like you can't ever sell it. There's something, I think it's very weird. But turtles are weird. So in Canada, we have this like monopoly market where there's like a high demand for turtles, very low supply because whatever is here has been here for so long, and it's just people that are actually maintaining and breeding them after all this time. So if you saw Dave Commons' video where he was at the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo, or mine where I asked him what was the most shocking thing, he brings up the turtles because they're so expensive relative to the US, where you can just get them and import them and do whatever you want. I mean, Herman's here, to put things in perspective, can cost upwards of $450 to $600 a turtle for a baby. Whereas in the States, I think they're like 50 or $60. And that just blows my mind, right? Sulcatas even are hundreds of dollars. While I don't really think anyone should have sulcatas in Canada, it's not some like hardcore opinion. I just think they'd be really hard to properly keep here, and give them the best fulfilling life. Even as far as like having them outside, they don't get a whole lot of time outside before it gets too cold again. I just think it's not the most ideal thing. Phoenix, take care. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. But yeah, so those are some of the things. I don't know if it helps at all. Lepida reptiles. Have you been to any EU reptile exhibitions? I have not. I would love to go to Ham sometime. Hamburg Expo is a dream to attend. So maybe, definitely not this upcoming one. There's no way I can go, but I hope to one day be able to come to Germany and attend that expo. It would be so cool to film and explore. It sounds like the most incredible show. Yeah, Keely, it is very complicated. It's very, very complicated. Um, Oscar, where was that question? And yes, Chelsea, there are so many creatures and so much square footage. Only so much, yep. Have a very nice night and a nice evening for the person from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. Thank you. Take care. Do you have any tips on get my parents to allow me to keep a snake? Thank you, Annalise, for answering that question. They've definitely come around for you, though, that's for sure. Wow. You're breeding them and everything now, and they get excited about it, so that's awesome. White Knight Fantasy. Yeah, I'm excited for you too. It'll be amazing. Unfortunately, I will not still be here for the Hooten Expo. I come home on the 24th or the 25th. I don't know, next Tuesday. So I will not be there, unfortunately. I'm missing it by nothing, which is too bad. Nameless Collector. Hey, what's up? Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Well, guys, do you have any other questions you want to ask? Maybe we'll wrap things up with a few more questions. Stream's actually been going for an hour, which is so hard to believe. It's always so much fun chatting. I lose track of time. Yeah, let me know. Let's do a few more questions, and then I will excuse myself and head to La La Land. Have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. I'm actually going to Gand, or do you say Ghent in English? I don't know how you pronounce it. So anyway, we'll see. Ooh, voodoo reptiles. I got a Theraphosa apophysis at my local expo. That is awesome. Pinkfoot Goliath. They are so cool. I've actually never kept that species. I've actually never kept Blondie either. I mean, I have 4 Sturmey. 4. So I got my fair share of Theraphosa. Can you follow up about the turtles and other animals? Absolutely, Katarina. I will for sure be doing that. Well, there are lots of updates to do. Layla, do you keep any millipedes? I do not. We can legally keep the, what is it, N something, N Americanus, the North American millipedes, giant millipedes, but I don't actually have any. I might get some eventually, but a lot of millipedes are illegal, to keep in Canada. They're pretty intense about anything that's like omnivorous or a herbivorous or like a detrivore or whatever, just because of the agricultural industry. So that's why like roaches and other feeders, a lot of other feeders are illegal for the most part. There are some exceptions now, which is great. Do you still keep centipedes, Nameless Collector? Unfortunately, I do not. I discussed this in the last live stream. So if you're bored and you want to scroll through that and check it out, I talk all about the giant white legs, what went wrong, the whole experience, and what I'll do going forward if I decide to keep them again. Unfortunately, it was a very negative experience for me. I really did try my best, but yeah, I explained it in good detail in that stream last Friday. Soon ghost time. Have you ever been to the NERBC Tinley Park? No, I have not, Medusa. I would really want to go. I think I'll try to go for the March one. I'll see what Adam's doing too, because I know he really wants to go as well. So maybe I'll be like, hey, let's go together. We'll see what he's planning. I have heard that the fall one is better. I don't know if that's true. Maybe I can kind of deduce that that would be the case if everybody's bringing what they produced that year there, and maybe it's just like not much in the spring show, but at the same time be holdbacks. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And otherwise, I mean, I'll go at some point. Like, I really want to go. I've heard amazing things, and I also just saw Mike's recent video. It looked so sweet. So, yeah. Katarina, in Europe, a lot of them need to have a chip because of CITES. I don't know. Interesting. I don't have chips in my animals, so not necessary in Ontario. I can tell you that, or Canada. Oscar, are you ever going to keep snails? No, unfortunately not. I mean, besides like aquatic snails, most land snails in Canada are illegal. A lot of them, at least. Do you think a 2x2x4 will be too small for a crested gecko? Again, apologize for the yawn. Definitely not. That sounds like a fantastic sized enclosure. I would say that's great for a crested gecko. If that's length times height, 4 feet high, that Cressy's gonna have a great time. That's great. Max Aussie Reptiles, what are your thoughts on morning geckos? I mean, I think they're really cool. I love watching videos where someone puts diet down and they're just like 20 of them. They come down and start lapping it up. I've never kept them myself, but I think they're great. They're a lot of fun. They're cute. Voodoo reptiles. Assassin bugs, just stay clear of the feces and keep it very clean and you're good. Now I'm kind of curious. Why do you have to stay clear of the assassin bug feces? Whatever happens with that. Those are interesting though. They're really cool to keep communally. Mark, anyone know if leap enclosures will soon be available in Germany and Europe? That is a good question. I actually don't know, but I know that they're in England now, so I think they're slowly making their way out there, just looking for good distributors, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, Nameless Collector, I have also not kept rough greed steaks. I've worked with them, again, in the pet store. We've kept like 4 or 5 of them, but I can't really give you any care tips on them because it's just not an animal I've kept, so it wouldn't be fair. Is it because you mentioned the US and Canada transfer? If EU, all CITES animals have to have a chip if possible. The transfer is still hard, but much easier because you can find out where they came from. That's interesting. That's really cool. Voodoo reptiles. I'll be at Tinley next year. That's the same weekend I got the Therafosa at my local show. Very cool. Keely, do they fly? Assassin bugs? Nope. I would say no from what I've seen. Medusa the hognose. I don't know if I've ever been able to get there. It's on my bucket list. It sounds like most everything's in Canada. It's really the invert stuff, honestly. That's illegal. The invertebrates are so, like, the invertebrate hobby is basically centipedes, tarantulas, jumping spiders, and like, vinegaroons and amphibigli or something like that, but not a whole lot of other stuff. Like most insects are illegal. It's really dumb. You probably might not have this species. Yeah, 4 feet high. Actually, I plan to keep a pair. Yeah, a pair could be fine. But again, if you're going to keep a pair, like I don't sound like a hypocrite, I've kept Rambo and Pingu together for a really long time. You just have to be careful because that male will constantly try and breed with her and overwork her and not give her a break from laying eggs. So I do recommend separating them during that cooling period so she gets months off. The feces is what's the most dangerous about the assassin bugs. It leaves a terrible parasite in humans. Yikes. That is very scary. Very, very scary. Max Aussie reptiles and more. You probably won't have this species available where you live. Marbled gecko. I'm not sure. I've actually seen a few around, I think. There are people working with them. They're very cute. Beautiful geckos. Oh yeah, I've seen the giant ones can fly. I don't know if is it Platymerus bigutatus, right? And then there's the SP Mambo and Radamanthus. I've worked with them in university. I've bred them back in 2012, I think it was. So I've kept all 3 of those, and none of them ever flew. I didn't like throw one up to see if it would glide or fly. I mean, they have wings, so I guess they're capable of flight, but none of them ever tried to fly in the way I kept them. Reptiles, I think I'll pass the assassin bugs. What about blue death fang beetles? Those are really cool. I found those in Arizona. Hi, have you thought about keeping and breeding golden geckos? They're very rad geckos. They are. They're underrated. I mean, the gecko genus in general is underrated. Tokes, white lines, green eyes, like they're all really cool animals. The white lines are also called skunk geckos, right? But I don't know. Again, it's a space thing. I think they're interesting, but I have a bunch of toke geckos, and I think they're the prettiest out of all of them. So I'll just stick to those. If I had the space, yeah, I'd love to keep more interesting species and work with more, but I don't. So I have to be very selective. As an enthusiast, what is your favorite kind of skink? If you had to guess, Kira, what do you think my favorite type of skink is? Uh, yeah, I think you know. I won't I'll let someone else answer that question. That being said, I do also think monkey tail skinks, prehensile tail skinks are super cool too. There's so many skinks that people don't even know about that are out there in the hobby that are really interesting. Yeah, Mac, I will be getting some shut eye soon. Don't worry. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really seeing anyone answering it, so I think I'm just gonna say, yeah, just to be clear, the crocodile skinks, specifically the red eye crocodile skinks. Okay, let's see. Just gonna a marble gecko too. Reminds me of palmetto bugs. You wouldn't expect a giant cockroach can fly, but it can. Like the live stream if you haven't yet. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for your support. I don't want too many people to try and join in now because I'm planning on heading out in a sec here. They're not worth the effort, I think. So many other things that are great to keep. Do you have any mammals? If not, what's your exotic mammal? Oh, geez, I don't know. I mean, I love my dog. My family dog's sweet. Remy, he's a good guy. A dream exotic mammal that I'd want to keep. I mean, not in any realistic sense because I just wouldn't keep them. Um, Maybe some type of lemur, like a rough lemur, black and white rough or red, or a lemur kata, like the ringtail lemurs. They're very cool animals. But again, like I wouldn't just keep a lemur. That's so selfish of me. I don't have anything to keep them properly, or they'd be lonely, not in a troop, that whole thing. I'm just fictitiously dreaming it would be cool to have one. Um, I'd love to get a tokay, but don't have the room for it. Yeah, I don't keep blue tongue skinks. Pink tongue skinks are really cool too. They're very interesting. Zebra pluckos are beautiful. Take care, Annalise. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciated that. It's gonna go straight to the animals. Probably buy some silkworms and do a silkworm feeding video. Those aren't cheap, guys. I gotta tell you, silkworms are pricey. So appreciate the super chats. You all go straight to the animals' food, vet bills, all that kind of fun stuff. Keep up the good work, brother. Love to follow you. Thank you, Yannick. I really appreciate it. Ranga, Hala, hey, Jack a Million Exotics. I'm here, yay. Hey, welcome, guys. I'm sorry some of you are joining now. I'm actually signing off in a sec, but bro, call my name, please. Ranga, hello. Just about to film a video, then I saw this. Happy filming, Jack a Million. Do it up. It's going to be awesome. Nameless Collector, have you worked with legless lizards? Yes, I have. I mentioned that earlier. What do you think about African fat tails? They're really cool. A little underrated. They're kind of like leopard geckos in my opinion. It's a bit more humid and I don't know. I like a lot of the morphs that come out of those. They're really neat. The natural fat tails look so beautiful as well. Yeah, they're cool gecko. They're really neat. Again, it's just for me. It's like they don't do it for me in the sense of space and stuff. It's just voodoo reptiles. Yeah, that would be so cool. I wish I could have Goliath beetles here, but unfortunately I can't. Another Canadian thing. Enjoy dreaming. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's live stream. I really appreciate you tuning in. I'll leave this up. I'll make sure it gets uploaded so if anyone missed it, they can follow along and see me answer the questions if they like. But rest assured, again, I'm going to be going back to a normal upload schedule as of next week. So next week is going to be a Halloween feeding video. Mr. Mustache, the cheesiest, worst Halloween costume in the world, but we're rolling with it. I'll see if I can come up with something a bit more creative to deal with that. And then following that, there'll be the regular Friday uploads. And I think, again, we'll have to do these live streams more often if you enjoy them. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me here. It's so much fun. And if you want to see more content, definitely do follow me on Instagram because I've been continuously posting about the pets, the animals daily, whether it's reels or photos. So if you want to get updates on the animals, I'm doing it all there. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Again, see you next week for regular content. I'll have so much work to do when I get back, but I'm so excited to do all that too. And then, guys, Madagascar is 2 months away. I have to go get all my vaccines still for the trip. So many that I need before going for all these different illnesses, the malaria pills. That's going to be fun. But yeah, I cannot wait to share that all with you. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. It's going to be so exciting. Yeah, 2 months. It's like a little over 2 months till we leave. But anyway, I digress as usual. It's going to be amazing. So, yeah, can't wait to show you guys more. I'll leave it at that. Okay, guys, so much love to you all. Thank you so much for your support and viewership. Truly, it means the world to me. I'm digressing, but really, if you weren't here watching, whether it's the live stream and the videos, giving the thumbs up, commenting, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And that just means you're such an integral part of this community, and getting to chat with you and share all of this with you is truly just like, it's so special. So thank you for giving me this gift, this platform to express myself and share my love for these animals. You guys rock. Okay, take care, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. See ya. Bye.